What's up, Patreon? Wait, what?
No. Welcome to Creepy Conversations, you creepers. I'm Nikki.
Sorry about that. And I'm Kalai. Obviously, I'm the one who's always at loss for words and saying the wrong things.
I think that was a sign for them to subscribe to our Patreon. Because it just came out. It's like word vomit.
Yeah, creepy conversations at Patreon? Or,
Oh my
wait,
God,
no,
no.
Patreon / creepy convos, right? What is happening to me? Oh, we forgot to thank our donor on Patreon.
Brian! What was his name?
Let's just call him Jong, because that's what I call him. My cousin, he donated. Jong
Yes.
Maring. Thank you so much.
I knew you were going to say that. Oh my God. You guys, you should have seen Alai's face when she was trying to say, now I'm at a loss for words. The fuck? You should see your face.
Contagious. The thing that we have. But yeah.
Let's just get to our topic.
Yeah, let's go straight to our topic because we don't know what we're supposed to talk about right before we're recording because I haven't been out because of Delta and yeah.
The world's insane.
So we'll get right to it. By the way, yesterday was 9/11 for the whole world and so rest in peace to the victims. I know that this episode is going to be released later, but you know, we just wanted to. The victims of the 9/11 attacks. Of course, they will never be forgotten. Their names are engraved in Ground Zero. And we'll probably cover a story about one of them someday. Of like, because I know one of the heroes of the 9/11, like one of the flight attendants, she was Asian. So probably in the future, we don't need 9/11 to talk about 9/11. We can talk about them and remember them in like other days too. But why I'm also talking about 9/11 is that we barely talk about the innocent victims that were ruthlessly killed because of their race and religion right after 9/11. So for this week, we're going to be talking about the murder of Balbir Singh Sodhi. He was the first documented hate crime casualty after 9/11. So our sources for this episode is CNN, NBC News, PRX, and Wikipedia. So Balbir Singh Sodhi was born in India in 1949. He grew up in a small village in Kapurthala district of Punjab, and he's the third oldest of 11 children. He came from a family of farmers and businessmen and owned a fabric shop before he and several of his brothers came to the US in the late 1980s. He moved to America for economic opportunity, you know, the usual, and also he wanted religious freedom because at that time in India, because he was a Sikh practitioner, he practiced Sikhism. Yeah, so he's Sikh. They were being prosecuted because of Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was assassinated by two of her Sikh bodyguards after she ordered the Indian army to storm the Golden Temple, and thousands of Sikhs were lynched, were burned alive, were beaten and raped by violent mobs over like the course of several days, like because of their faith. And because Balbir and his family feared for their lives, they sought refuge to another country in the USA. Balbir first ended up in Los Angeles, California. He worked at a 7-Eleven and then at a clothing shop and also as a cab driver before he was able to like save up enough money. So he decided to settle in Mesa, Arizona to open his gas station. According to his brother, he had a totally different personality than the rest of his family. His youngest brother, Rana Singh Sodhi, said that he radiated love everywhere he went. And I don't think he was just saying that because he passed away, because a lot of people who encountered Balbir and even his children said that he was a peace-loving person. And then, according to his brother back home in India, he had new clothes made each summer and winter for an elderly woman in his village and made sure that all the local children had uniforms and shoes to wear. In the US, he would take his nieces and nephews to swim at the community pool. He would also give free candy to kids at his gas station.
Oh, wow.
And would let those who didn't have the means fill their tanks for free. So he was really always ready to give.
He was a good Samaritan.
Yeah. He was always ready to pick up the check after a dinner out with his friends or to donate his money to a good cause. He pushed others to be just as generous, and sometimes people thought that it was annoying because he would push them to be just as generous as he was, but that's how he was. And then there was one time when a group of Sikhs came to Balbir's Gurdwara. They were asking for funds to open their own place of worship in San Jose, and then he donated $500 and told his brother to do the same, which his brother was reluctant at first because his gas station was closed and he didn't have any source of income. But Balbir told his brother Rana, "Don't worry, God will give you more." So he changed his mind. And then when the planes flew into the Twin Towers during 9/11 and killed more than 2,700 people, Balbir wanted to go to New York and help. One of his brothers reminded him that he wasn't trained to respond to disasters. And right before half an hour before he got shot, Balbir emptied out his wallet and donated $75 to fund for the 9/11 victims. So right before we proceed with the story, I think it's important to point out the differences between the Sikhs and the Muslims. Also, Islam and Sikhism are not the same religion. Muslims and Sikhs, they don't practice the same religion. Also, to those that are used to the pronunciation Sikh, because from what I know, Americans are used to the pronunciation Sikh.
I've never heard of that before.
Same. In school, we were taught that it's Sikh. So I was a bit shocked that people pronounce it as Sikh. But it's
not with
Sikh.
a double E.
Yeah, it's Sikh and it's Sikhism, and they do prefer that you pronounce it that way. So yeah. So just the main difference is that Sikhs believe in Ik Onkar. That's their one supreme reality who is present of all creation. So for Sikhs, God is a formless, genderless force that is known by grace through the true guru. And Ik Onkar is not a highly personal God with whom followers can have an intimate relationship, but a formless force underlying all creation. And they also refer to their God as Waheguru. While Muslims believe in the same God that Christians and Jews worship, but they call him Allah because that's the Arabic word for God. And the concept of Allah possess a very personal God who is all powerful but infinitely merciful. So there's a huge difference between their beliefs. And also the way they wear their turbans are also different. So the Sikh faith forbids them to cut their hair. So that's why, because they consider their hair as sacred, so that's why they wear their turbans to protect their hair. And the turbans also carry a symbolic value of their own. They believe that wrapping the head with a tight turban securely in place helps the mind stay grounded and focused on the important things. And Muslims and Sikhs tie their turbans differently. Sikhs have a peak in the middle of their turban, while Muslims don't. So
yes.
Why am I over explaining? Because information helps battle ignorance. So
I don't even think you're over explaining, because I feel like those that don't know this would just look at them and be like, oh, it's probably a different kind of Muslim. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So it makes sense.
So they're not, they're completely different
Yeah.
religions. Yeah, and I think it's important to know that. So back to Balbir Singh Sodhi, because he wears a turban, and so does the other Sikhs in his community, and they live in Mesa, Arizona, it became complicated for them because they immediately started to experience harassment the day after the attacks on 9/11 or September 11, 2001. Balbir and his brother Rana met up with other local Sikh leaders. They planned a news conference in the upcoming Sunday service to show others what Sikhs look like and what they stand for, in hopes to contain whatever hate and harassment that was directed towards them. But on September 15, 2001, a day before their planned press conference, Frank Silva Roque, it looks like Roque to me, so I'm tempted to say Roque, but I heard on the news clips that I watched, they pronounced it as Roque, so that's it. Let's do that. So he was a white aircraft mechanic who said that he was going to shoot some towel heads as a retaliation of the attacks. So Roque took his Chevrolet S10 from the Wild Hair Sports Bar in Mesa, where he had reportedly been ranting about immigrants. And then he drove to the gas station owned by Balbir. And I think he knew Balbir, although he says that he don't. But they are from the same area, and Balbir owned the gas station. And the fact that that's where he drove... Yeah, and the fact that he drove towards the gas station right away, you know, makes me think that he did, like, he specifically targeted Balbir. At that time, Balbir was standing outside with his landscaper, Luis Ledesma, and his team of landscapers outside the gas station that he built, trying to figure out where to, like, place some of the plants, because he was, like, redecorating the outside of the gas station. Then Roque came by and shot Balbir Sodhi 5 times while he was in his truck with a 30... How do you say gun names? .38 or .380 handgun. I don't know how to say it, but that's it.
That's probably .38 because that's usually referring to the millimeter diameter of the bullets.
Okay, so it's .38 handgun, which killed Balbir. According to him, Roque mistook Balbir as an Arab Muslim because of the clothes he wore and his turban and his beard, which is...
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, but also still wrong because, dude, even if he was an Arab Muslim, it's still wrong to kill somebody that didn't do anything to you.
Exactly.
Just because, right? It's so fucking stupid. And also, the hijackers weren't even wearing turbans. While they were living in Florida to get their pilot's license, to learn how to fly planes, none of them were wearing turbans. And the CCTV footage of the hijackers getting on the 3 different airplanes, none of them were wearing turbans. They were wearing business casual wear, like any, I don't know, white person would wear. That's what they were wearing.
Yeah.
So after attacking Balbir, Frank Roque then drove to a mobile gas station 10 miles away. 20 minutes after the first shooting, he shot a Lebanese American clerk from his truck but missed. So the clerk, he survived. And then after that, Frank Roque then drove to his former residence, which had been purchased by a local Afghan family, and fired multiple rounds at the outside of the house. So he was going full crazy. He basically was on a killing spree without killing further people, but that's what his main goal was. After fleeing the scene of the final shooting, Roque was reported to have gone to a local bar and boasted about what he was doing, and he even said they're investigating the murder of a turban head down the street. So, I feel like he knew Balbir and did target him because, you don't just randomly go to these gas stations and like hope that whoever the owner is someone who he thinks is Muslim. I feel like he did know these people and did target them specifically.
Yeah, it felt like he knew where he wanted to go because probably he remembered, I saw this person here. This person probably works in this location, so I'm going there.
Yeah, exactly. And Frank Roque was quickly identified and police arrested him the next day. And the police were initially aware of the other shooting incidents of the one in the other gas station where the Lebanese American and his former home. When they were leading him out while they arrested him, Frank Roque was reportedly shouting, "I am a patriot and I stand for America all the way." Guess what, dude? You're not. Because no one asked you to do that shit in the first place and you're embarrassing other American citizens.
But honestly, if you're a real patriot and then you hear someone say that, fuck man, I'd be so embarrassed. I wouldn't even want to be associated with that. That's insane.
Exactly. He's being crazy. His bail was set at 1 million, which is great. I feel like he deserved more than 1 million. He shouldn't be set out, but that's a good start. Roque's trial by jury began on August 18, 2003. Roque's defense attorneys argued that he was not guilty due to insanity, claiming that he had diminished IQ and heard relentless voices telling him that Arabs were satanic and must be killed. Which, first of all, they were claiming insanity because he was stupid? No, because his IQ was really low.
AKA stupid.
Yeah, which is such a, what's the term for that? They shouldn't be associating
mental illness with
insanity.
That.
Yeah, mental illness with low IQ. Not everyone who has mental illness has a low IQ.
Exactly. If you're dumb, you're just fucking dumb.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're mentally ill. That's just your logic is just not there. That's it.
But I mean, as lawyers for the defendant, they need to come up with something, even if it sounds stupid. So I'm sorry for you guys, but okay.
Shit. 2 of his co-workers were asked to testify against Roque, and they said that Frank Roque was narrow-minded and that he hated both immigrants and Arabs. So it's not because of his,
quote-unquote
mental
insanity.
Illness. Yeah, he really is what he is. He's a hateful person. And also I read Reddit and other forums, his co-workers and a lot of people that knew him hated him because they would say that, he was an asshole. He was so hard to work with.
That tells
you can
tell a lot about the person already.
Yeah, and he was very vocal about his hatred towards immigrants and other, not just Arabs, but other races. He was openly hateful.
I think he was just looking for a reason to
looking for a reason to hate. Yeah, exactly. So Roque's defense attorney characterized him as mentally ill and noted that his mother had twice been hospitalized for schizophrenia, a condition which has been shown to appear in those genetically predisposed to it. Was he diagnosed? No. They were just, again, using mental illness. Not everyone who has schizophrenia is violent. They can be, but it doesn't mean that they're murderers. It doesn't mean that they're hateful.
Yes.
It's not that way. So fuck you to his defense attorneys. I know you're just trying to do your job, but fuck you. So on September 30, 2003, Frank Roque was found guilty of first-degree murder and he was sentenced to death 9 days later. On July 19, 2005, Frank Roque was found guilty of an unsuspected conspiracy charge while in prison, specified only as violent crime. So they didn't really say what. Maybe he joined, like, I don't know, KKK or something in prison and they found out about it. But they didn't really say what it was. Yeah, it was unspecified conspiracy charge. I feel like he's the type of person who will join, like, conspiracy theorists and like an extremist.
I think so too. For group. As long as it supports his beliefs, I think he would join that. No matter how stupid it sounds. That's
true. And also, he himself is a domestic terrorist. He's attacking people for no fucking reason. So yes. On February 27, 2006, he was found guilty of having manufactured a primitive weapon in prison 3 days earlier. So this guy is just a menace to society.
He's digging his own grave.
Exactly.
He's just making it quick for him. Like, come on.
Yeah. In August 2006, Arizona Supreme Court changed Roque's death sentence to a sentence of life in prison without parole, citing his low IQ and mental illness as mitigating factors. I feel like his only illness is probably anger management issues. Because this dude needs to manage whatever bullshit he has within himself.
I don't know what kind of trauma he went through, but someone needs to fix this guy.
Yeah. Also, he's lucky he has low IQ because now he has the chance to live.
I think that's even worse. Like, I would rather die than be forced to spend my entire lifetime in prison.
That's true, because prison bad. Prison is bad. 15 years after the murder of Balbir, a call was arranged between Frank Roque and Balbir's brother, Rana. The fucking asshole Frank Roque gave such a weak apology and said the events of 9/11 broke me down, that I could not cope. I have been crying for several days. Right before I did what I did, I would never have done what happened in my own free will. What happened was a result of a mental breakdown. I'm sorry to say that it caused your brother's life, but it also caused mine. I don't have free will. He had the guts to say that.
Who taught him how to say that? Who gave him spiel? Like, the fuck?
I feel like his lawyers taught him to say that, because I don't think he made that all on his own. Yeah. But also, he had the fucking guts to say all of that to Rana, who was trying to talk to him, trying to be peaceful. And Rana told him that, I actually spoke to your daughter and to your wife.
He's married. Wow.
Yeah, during an anniversary of Balbir's death, he was buying flowers for the
ceremony?
Yeah, the ceremony. The thing where you gather to remember somebody. Jesus! So, Rana saw his wife and his daughter, and he approached them, and he was like, I think I know you. And then they both said, yeah, we think we know you too. And then he said, I think you're related to Frank Roque. And then he said that, I'm the brother of Balbir. And then he said that, I've forgiven you. I want to move on. And then he even invited his wife and his kid to like the ceremony. Of course, his wife and kid said maybe later. I think it would be hard for them to go there knowing that his husband and their dad killed the brother. So, and then Frank Roque during the call was like, yeah, they told me. And then Rana said, I forgive you because I believe that we're all brothers and sisters and that we're all connected and sometimes we make mistakes. And then the fucking asshole had the guts to be like, yeah, we do. We all make mistakes and it's good that we're moving on. And I'm like,
the audacity of this idiot.
Exactly. He has every audacity in the world in him to say that shit.
Some days I wish I had the confidence.
Yeah, the lack of whatever he's lacking. But yeah, I mean, it's great for Rana to be so peace-loving and so open for him to forgive his brother's murderer. But Frank Roque did not learn anything. He didn't sound like he regretted what he did. He didn't sound like he was remorseful at all. He was giving excuses that it was because of whatever that happened. Like, he did not learn shit at all. I don't think he should ever get out of jail.
Is he still in jail?
He's still in jail.
Good.
And I don't think he will get out. So, yeah, he should stay there forever, even until after his death. He should stay there. But yeah, unfortunately, the day after Balbir was killed, another white supremacist named Mark Stroman went on a killing spree. On September 16, 2001, he killed Waqar Hassan, a Pakistani Muslim and father of 4 daughters, at his Dallas convenience store. And then on October 5, 2001, he also killed Vasudev Patel, a Hindu Indian American immigrant who worked at a gas station in Mesquite, Texas. So all of these men were innocent people. As many as 17 more Sikhs, Muslims, Arabs, and South Asians died in a similar manner after what happened in 9/11. And then countless others were subjected to assaults, to slurs, to vandalism from their neighbors, and racial profiling and surveillance and detention from their government, from the American government. I know there are so many YouTube videos out there of like Muslim women, of Sikhs, of other Arabs who aren't even Muslim that get attacked for no fucking reason. Guys, this isn't the way for, to retaliate. I know what happened in 9/11 sucked and it was sad, but attacking innocent people isn't the way. You're not making the world a better place. And I don't think any of the victims of 9/11 would want you to retaliate their death by being violent towards others.
They're becoming more like the terrorists already.
Exactly. That's a great point.
It's annoying because it just highlights how much of an ignorant you are if you do act out this way. Because, like, for one, bitch, you can't even tell the difference between a Muslim and a Sikh.
Yeah.
And 2, it's just, why? You know what I mean? In the first place, these people that you're targeting are not the ones that caused the deaths of the people you're trying to avenge. So, none of this adds up. Who does your math?
Exactly. And also, most of the hijackers from 9/11 were from Saudi Arabia. They weren't even South Asia. I mean, it is Saudi Arabia isn't South Asia. It's Central Asia, right? Am I correct?
I think they were in Middle East. Yeah.
Yeah, Middle East. So I shouldn't be making these geographical whatever, but we shouldn't also be violent towards other people that we assume are violent. They're not.
Exactly.
I have Muslim friends and they're not violent. Sikhs aren't violent at all.
They're the most chill people. They're like second to Buddhists.
Yeah.
When it comes to chill.
Exactly. They just want to be connected with the universe. There's no need to attack them. Like, as Nikki said, there's no difference between you and the terrorist.
Exactly.
With what you're doing. So stop. Anyway, back to Balbir. He kept a diary. He loved to write every day in his diary or his journal. And the last lines he ever wrote in his diary, he said, "God, you are my friend. You are my companion. You have given me so much happiness in my life that I can't even begin to tell you. Whatever task you need me for, I am ready." That's like the last line he ever wrote. It's kind of prophetic, right? Like,
yes, I would say so. I feel like he's already found contentment in his life. It's sad that he had to go that way.
Yeah.
But I feel slightly, I don't know what the appropriate word for it is, but I'm happy to know that he wasn't resentful of his life when he passed. Like, he was in an okay place when he left us.
Exactly. Like, you could tell that he already lived his life, and like his goal probably was just helping other people. Balbir's murder turned his brother Rana Singh Sodhi into a national advocate against hate. Over the past 2 decades, Rana has went all over the United States to share his brother's story and educate other Americans on who the Sikhs are. At his home in Mesa, Arizona, objects on display in the foyer provide snapshots of his journey. There's like a charcoal drawing that a junior high student drew of Balbir after Rana spoke to her class. He has a framed photo of himself at a state dinner in 2009 shaking hands with Barack Obama at that time when Barack Obama was still president, and he received like awards for what he did. And he was asked if ever he gets tired of repeating the same story over and over again, of continually trying to educate Americans on who Sikhs are despite their long history in their country. He says he feels quite the opposite, and he even said doing so gives him energy and peace. He said, "It's my responsibility. I think every person who lives in this country has a responsibility to make this country beautiful and to educate each other." And that is the story of Balbir Singh Sodhi.
I don't know what you're looking at, but your eyes are like, am I saying this right? Am I saying this right?
No, I wanted to make sure that I was saying his last name correct. But yeah, it sucks that they had to... The reason why they fled their country in the first place was because they were being prosecuted for being sick. And then his death was still
about the same
almost
thing.
Practically the same thing. Yeah, because of ignorance. Guys, let's stop being ignorant. Google is free. We can just...
You know what I don't like? These racist attacks, and what was the term for it when it comes to religion? Creedist? I think that's the term for it when you judge them based on their religion. Yeah. It doesn't just happen in Western countries, which is sad. Because, like,
true.
Even in Asia, it happens. Like, in the past, Indo-Chinese or Chinese Indonesians fled the country because the Chinese were being prosecuted in their country. And that's why we have a lot of that here in Singapore. But, yeah, I don't understand. Like, if you don't know how to deal with your ignorance, I think you should start working on yourself rather than like turning it into hate. It's so difficult to grasp the idea of you being violent because you don't understand something.
Yeah. Like, I can understand your anger, but to direct your anger towards an innocent person, I just don't understand. Go to therapy instead of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I'm trying to look at it in the perspective of the attacker. I'm trying to put myself in their place to just understand why. And then it still doesn't make sense to me. Because even if I'm angry at somebody,
yeah,
I don't have the energy to go ham and be violent. You know? Exactly.
Also, what is the U.S. government, or like, not just the U.S. government, but we are talking about somebody, a murder victim in the U.S. I wonder what their government is doing about it. You know, there should be something, or like an event or in school for them to be more educated about these things. Like, that's why I was shocked that, like, Americans pronounce Sikh as Sikh. And not just in America, it was like other parts of the world, in Europe as well, they pronounce it as Sikh. And it's like, no, it's Sikh. We were taught that it's Sikh here in Asia, and I thought that that's common knowledge, but apparently it's not. Yeah, so I feel like there should be a change in their education system to make them more knowledgeable about different things and how violence is never the answer.
For sure.
Oh, and I forgot about Rana, the brother of Balbir. Because of the issue of what's happening in Afghanistan today, they're again fearing for their lives because it's like a bunch of ignorant people are finding excuses to be violent again. They should know that these aren't the same people, and even if they are Muslims, they don't have the same beliefs. You know, they're not all extremists, just like Christians and Catholics. There are Christians that don't have the same beliefs as the rest of other Christians. You know, just put it that way. Put yourselves in the shoes of other people rather than getting your gun and shooting other people. No. Who are you protecting? Nobody.
Exactly. You're a menace to society the moment you do that. Like, you're the villain here when you do that.
Oh my God. I remember something in like my previous job. Like I had an office mate. I told you already who he was.
Yeah.
I'm not going to explain further because I don't want to accidentally say his name, but we were talking about, you know, that there was this island somewhere. I forgot where it is, but it's like an untouchable island. So the natives there, no one has ever gone to that island, but they know that there are people living there. Mm-hmm. And then there was like this group of missionaries that went there, and there was this one missionary that got killed by the natives of that island.
Okay.
And then my office mate, this stupid dude, he says, well, if they're allowed to be violent towards visitors, maybe we should just bomb them. And because he's American. So I was like, so you mean you want to terrorize them? And then he went silent. Like, I feel like violence is so normal. I feel like it's so normal for you whites and Americans to just go to another country and be like, oh, let's colonize you, or let's like...
I don't think they were taught how to deal with their feelings. That's why the easiest way out is, you know what, we don't see eye to eye, so you're better off dead. So I don't have to deal with you.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, you shouldn't... They're from a different country, so leave them be. That's what I'm trying to say. There's no need for you guys to enter every country guns a-blazing, you know? Let's keep that for ourselves.
There's a lack of global exposure, I would say, in that country. A lot of people don't know much about other cultures, and that's why to them it's like, we're always right because this is all I know.
Yeah. Obviously, we're not talking about every American and every white person.
For sure, yeah.
No, because we also have white friends, and we sound like how white people when they talk about racism. Dude, no. But that's what we're trying to say. We're not generalizing. It's just that there are some that are like that. We're talking about people like Frank Roque. And what was the name of the other one that I mentioned? Mark Stroman. We're talking about these people. So if it doesn't apply to you, then we're not talking about you, obviously.
No, okay. So just to be fair, it also happens in our country. It also happens in the Philippines because
that's true.
We're not exposed to these things. We're not educated. So the moment we're faced with something that's unfamiliar, immediately we get on the defensive, and then we also get violent. So we're not just saying this is for the white people. It's for everyone who's not open to learning new things and dealing things like a normal human being, like an adult.
Yes. It's just that we just made it an example because we're obviously talking about somebody murdered there. We are trying to over-explain ourselves.
No, we're clearing things.
Yeah. So that's it. And if you have any questions or anything, any stories that you want us to cover, you can go to Creepy Conversation. Go to our website, creepyconversations.com. I feel like what our topic was way too heavy. That's why we're like, oh, we're kind of lost. But yeah, when we're done with this, let's all take a moment of silence for the victims of 9/11 and the victims after 9/11. Let's all take time to remember them. And if you have any stories, please submit them to creepyconversations.com. Creepy Conversations on Instagram at Creepy Conversations.
If you do have stories that you also want to share, if you have more information about this, you can also message us on our socials. That's Creepy Conversations on Instagram and Creepy Convos on Facebook and Twitter.
Yes, and you don't really need to write the whole fucking story. You can just at us, tag us in the comments or send the fucking
link us up.
Yeah, forward share it to our inbox. You don't need to type it up, you know.
Unless you want to. That's cool too.
Unless you want to.
And if you enjoyed this, please subscribe and rate and review on Spotify, iTunes, and wherever you listen to your podcasts too. This episode is also available as a video, and more other bonus content is available on patreon.com/creepyconvos. And thanks for creeping, you fucking creeper.
And remember, the government is always watching you. They're watching you right now. You're on TikTok. I'm sure you're going to be on TikTok later.
Yes.
They track people, you know. Your vaccines won't track you, but your TikTok app will. Your iPhone will. Your Android phone will. So watch out. The government is literally watching you right now. Say hello to your FBI assignee. Bye.